Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is the Papa Joe Show, where Papa Joe knows. I am your host, Papa Joe, and I do appreciate y'all being here today. It has been a fantastic morning. Got to take my little one to go and get her teeth cleaned, all that fun stuff. Yeah, fun morning for sure. Get to spend some quality time with that one. That's very, very awesome to be able to do that. Anyhow, thanks for being part of the show today. It is a fantastic day. Do me a favor if you are new to the show and hit that subscribe button. It will for sure allow you to know whenever I go live. Actually, clicking the bell will do that, I think. I don't know. I'm still figuring this stuff out. If you get to the end of the show and you like what we are talking about today, smash the likes. It does let YouTube know that there are other people who should find this information and definitely should like it. So today, we're going to look at some very notable people taking a look into crypto and still loving it. And the mainstream media outlets sitting there going, why? Why are they doing this? We can take a look at something with some stonewalling taking place with Gary Gensler, and then some crazy stuff happening with the IMF, and some ties into stock to flow models and stuff like that with crypto. So, fun stuff. I get to get dressed up today because I'm going to go dressed up, not really, but I'm going to go do some golf ball hitting later on this afternoon. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I got a lot of stuff to do at work. Fun times for sure. So, stick around to the end of the show, and I will try my darndest to say hey to everyone in the chat. And then also, if you want to throw any questions, comments, concerns, whatever in there, that would be fantastic. All right. Other things I'd like to point out here right off the bat. Do me a favor. If you are not part of my Patreon, take a look at it. It's only $5 a month. It's not a lot. Coming up to the beginning of August here, it does the charge or whatever at the beginning of the month. Consider joining if you have not or not part of that. It does help the show out. It does do that for sure. But the goal with that is where I can have a platform to take the gloves off and talk about things and not care if the underlying YouTube or whatever else behind the scenes gets removed or taken down or whatever. I've already had to redo the plumbing on that twice now, simply because of the stuff we talk about on there. The reason it's behind Patreon or on the Patreon is because you guys can still say subscribed. And if the channel goes down, you don't got to go find it again. I just redo everything and it's there again. So makes it real simple, real easy, but I do dig into different topics. And sometimes I'm just squirrely. So check it out. Not a whole lot. I do appreciate those of you who are part of it. It genuinely means a lot to me. So let's jump into the content, shall we? We've got crypto jumping nowhere, but down. Crypto is dipping down. My personal opinion is you've got Tesla dumping on the market, and you've got the fear of Mt. Gox coming around. The thing is, though, is a lot of people who were playing with the Mt. Gox stuff back then, there will be some that will dump it on the market, but I highly doubt the vast majority of those people will dump their Bitcoin on the market unless they're bought and paid for already and they just want their money back, kind of thing. Most of those people forgotten about it. If I was one of the ones playing with Mt. Gox back then and that happened to me, I'd be holding every bit of them because I know where Bitcoin's going. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Stock to flow matters a lot. The day-to-day is noise. This is noise, okay? This is just nothing but noise. Look at where it's going, okay? Look at where it's going. And it has already made massive runs beyond anything I could have ever comprehended that it would get to. And now realistically looking into the prices of Bitcoin and what's going on in those regards, guys and gals, if you're holding any Bitcoin, you're going to be doing really well for yourself. If you want to be more speculative, of course, you could play in the stock market, but I highly, not financial advice, but I wouldn't touch it personally. I don't touch it. Any stock that I get from work or anything like that, as soon as I get it, it's sold. I do not. It goes straight into crypto. And every time I do that, it always just runs beautifully, which is fantastic. Not financial advice. So Divi is below 2 cents again. It's on sale. Hello. Time to pay attention to when these guys are dropping down. Dollar cost average in. It is always good to have dry powder. So We've got another tick up. Actually, it hasn't ticked up. It did a little bit actually. This did update. Yeah, good old mortgage rates still look like they're running. Litecoin seems like it's doing its thing, kind of hovering around. Anyhow, I just kind of look at these to see what the correlations are. Dow's down, Nasdaq is down, S&P 500 is down, and then pretty much the entire crypto market down. Can anybody guess why? Can anybody guess why? Anyone? Bueller? The IMF effectively this morning or today, and I couldn't find the stupid article, sounded the alarm for a global recession. Why would there be a global recession? Well, in the past, I don't know, 2 years, the Federal Reserve printed more money than it had ever printed in its entire existence. So from 1913 until 2020, it had only printed 20% of the US dollars that are in circulation today. The past 2-ish years, they printed more than 80% of the US dollars that are in circulation today. Compound that with the dollar being the world reserve currency and the rising interest rates, and guess what happens? All economies have a problem now. A very big problem. What's going to end up happening is we're going to see prices soar as we already have, but the cure for rising prices is rising prices. People will stop spending their money. People will stop buying their homes. If anyone's buying a home right now, and I have a couple of mortgage broker buddies, if anyone's buying a house right now, it's because they already pre-approved at a certain interest rate and a certain amount, and that fuel for the housing market is running on fumes. I realistically think, just as my personal opinion, that by the end of this month, you're going to see a lot of people just stop. Some of the mortgage brokers that I know have told me that they have no one in their pipeline to add mortgages to. And I'm sitting here going, here we go. It's about to get crazy. Some of them aren't really necessarily, they don't do the crypto stuff. Some of them do, which is pretty cool. It's funny whenever I told them about Milo credit and some other stuff out there, they're just kind of like mind blown. Like, oh wow, you can actually buy a house with an NFT. You can, or as an NFT, you can pay for it with crypto. Really, you can do that now? I'm like, You might want to pay attention to what's going on. So, anyways, all you gotta do is look. All you gotta do is read. It's out there. The information's there. So sorry for all the stuff. I haven't had enough coffee, and my ADHD is going crazy. So, yeah, squirrel today. So fun stuff. So the IMF is recession warning, sees Bitcoin dip under $21,000, and I am not sharing my screen. Sorry about that, folks. Squirrely. Bitcoin dipped under $21,000 amid a fresh $1 million Bitcoin price forecast. So this is interesting. Bitcoin can still rise to 7 figures within 5 years. Plan B claims, calling for investors to ignore short-term noise. And I completely agree with that. For those of you who don't follow Plan B, where is his? It's here. Okay. It's his Twitter account. You should seriously pay attention to this dude. He does really, really interesting charting. So I don't know if anyone remember last year, if you were part of the show back then, I did cover some of the stuff he talked about with his stock to flow models, and how they were right, or pretty darn close to right, for most of the time, until it was time for it to crash. Okay. Realistically speaking, all he's doing, for what it's worth, is just looking at all he's doing is just looking at the data. So some of you are afraid of a macro and link between Bitcoin and stock markets, etc. In his opinion, the next 5 years or so, approximately, the S&P 500 will be in the $5,000 to $6,000 range, and the Bitcoin in the $100,000 to $1 million range. Short-term noise is long-term signal. I don't think he's wrong, personally, just because That is the general trend and the general direction of cryptocurrency. I do, however, think he's wrong about the S&P 500 being in that range. S&P 500 right now is just under $4,000, and at its height, it was just under $5,000. So that's just my 2 cents. I don't necessarily agree with the whole $5,000 to $6,000 range. I actually think the entire market as a whole is going to collapse. That's just my personal opinion. I think that there will be a flight out of cash into crypto, and because cryptocurrency is the exit strategy, it is how people. The reason I call it that, or coined that, whatever, is because people are like, "What's your exit strategy to get out of crypto?" I'm like, "What's your exit strategy to get out of the dollar? What's your exit strategy to get out of the stock market?" And they just kind of look at me like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I started explaining the whole inflation thing, how much money they've printed, and all the stuff that's going on with the stock market, and the 401ks, and the IRAs, and how they just prop up the market, and people, their mind just goes boom. Then I ask again, so what's your strategy, your exit strategy for the dollar? Then they're like, wow, I should really learn about cryptocurrency, shouldn't I? I'm like, yeah, you really should. Bitcoin fell below $21,000 for the first time in 8 days. On July 26th, Wall Street prepared for a decision, the United States anti-inflation policy. So I don't know when this is happening. So it looks like tomorrow. Data from Cointelegraph Markets Pro and TradingView showed that Bitcoin USD ending a period of sideways action on the Wall Street open, hitting lows of $20,788, and currently it is $20,889.3, whatever. It's close enough. It's fluctuating. Against its highs of $24,280 on July 20th, the pair was down more over 14%. As nerves across risk assets heightened in anticipation for a reserve decision on the interest rates due on July 27th. Well, we know, all of us who've been in the crypto space for as long as we have, we know that the vast majority of the crypto and environment here is held by people who are just holding it. If there's trading happening, it's paper trading on a centralized exchange, and usually by the stock brokers themselves, because they're playing in the risk assets, as they call them. Cryptocurrency is a risk asset. It's hilarious. Sound money is a risk asset. Gold is apparently a risk asset because, think about Dave Ramsey and his stupidity when it comes to gold and silver is just mind-boggling. It's crazy. If you call into his show, you ask him about gold, and he gives you his opinion, and then you try to correct him, he'll just hang up on you. Total jerk. Is unwilling to pay attention to or be willing to be challenged with any other information that he is focused in on. I get debt-free is important. Debt-free is also, in some regards, stupid in our current monetary system. Now, if the crypto monetary system does in fact take place eventually, then what that will end up being is nobody will have debt because there will be no debt to be had. You want to buy a house? Okay, well, how much crypto do you have? Okay, well, buy the house. Right? You pay cash for it. If inflation had not realistically taken place, if we had never been taken off the gold standard, if gold was allowed to fluctuate as it should, instead of being pegged at a specific price, blah, 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 you would have an intense amount of wealth built in the world. It would be incredible. Absolutely incredible. A house in the 19-somethings, I don't know, way the heck back when, was under $40,000 for a brand new house. Most people can come up with $40,000 today, but that's the thing is that it's not that way anymore. It's just not. Yeah. No. I don't know. Anyway, the higher the base rate hike by the Federal Reserve, the more problematic the outlook for crypto investors, as more tightening would mean more conservative conditions prevailing across the economy. I disagree. People are going to want to have their money in a safe haven. Gold, silver is obvious, but people are realizing that the COMEX is manipulated. The COMEX is that J.P. Morgan and its traders on the precious metals side of things has been brought up on RICO charges. Yeah, people are realizing those types of things. You can't really find gold and silver anymore. If you're going to go take, let's say you had a 401k and you've been doing it for a long time, and you have maybe $200,000-$300,000 in there, and you want to put it all in gold or all in silver or half in one or the other. Good luck finding the amount of silver or gold you would need to actually obtain that. Could you take $300,000-$400,000 and buy Bitcoin, crypto, Litecoin, Ethereum, Polygon, Divi? Yeah, easy, done. You got it. It's literally a bank transfer. Simple. And yet, people still argue that Bitcoin isn't sound money. Except the fact is that Bitcoin is a sound money. It's rare. It's hard to obtain. There's a finite amount. It's not tangible, except for if you're running a miner. It's then tangible. It's very tangible because it pays you, just like owning a prop. A miner is like owning a house that you're renting out. The house costs you money to own, costs you money to pay for insurance, just like it costs money to pay the power for the miner to work. You rent that house out, you get a monthly payment. After all of your expenses are paid, you're left over with whatever. It's cash flowing, as Robert Kiyosaki discusses. A miner is like buying a house. It pays you indefinitely. Okay? It makes sense. That's tangible to me, right? The only thing about Bitcoin is that its differences between gold is that it hasn't been around for 5,000 plus years as money, and it's not intrinsic. There's no intrinsic value, right? I think those are the main points of sound money, right? Anyways, it's crazy stuff. Crazy. Elsewhere on macro, the International Monetary Fund released its July 2022 World Economic Outlook, forecasting a significant slowdown in global growth, which should average 3.2% this year and 2.9% in 2023. The risk of recession is particularly prominent in 2023, when in several economies growth is expected to bottom out. Household savings accumulated during the pandemic will have declined, and even small shocks could cause economies to stall. That's already happened. For example, already the latest forecast in the United States will have real GDP growth of only 0.6%. That's a forecast. I wonder if it's negative. I wonder if it's actually negative. In the fourth quarter of 2023. So only 6% in the fourth quarter of 2023. I wonder what it actually is. On a year-over-year basis, which will make it increasingly challenging to avoid a recession. Guys and gals, we are in for a world of hurt coming up here real soon. Pay attention to Plan B. He's a very important guy. He does really good with his stuff. The coolest part about what he talks about is he doesn't care what anyone else says. Doesn't care. He puts his stuff out there and doesn't care. He gets blasted all the time. 40% of all the 19 million Bitcoins are lost. Historically, blue is a great accumulation zone. How long blue? See, every time it turns blue, we just hit blue. Oh, he does planbtc.com, which is very interesting stuff. Let's go over there. So this is his website. I hear somebody in the house. Interesting. Kiddos are at piano. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's this washer. We'll see if I hear any more noises. I may have to go step aside for a second. Oh no, it's a package being delivered. Sorry. Where was I? Talk about squirrel. So yeah, pay attention to him. He really doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh yeah, accumulation zone. How long blue? It could be 1 month. See this guy? Could be 2 months. 2011, 6 months. 2018, 2019, and 9 months. 2014, 2015. Only time will tell. Currently, the 3 blue dots. Are you going to wait until green? Accumulation phase, peeps. Accumulation phase. So, sorry, wife's pinging me. Okay, cool. I don't hear it anymore, so we'll see what happens here in just a second. Crypto crashed, so why are Kevin O'Leary and Edward Snowden and Snoop Dogg and Mike Tyson and more are still putting their faith in it? Stand by. I'm going to go make sure someone's not here. Hang on. It's the stupid robot vacuum cleaner smashing against the chairs. Sorry for the bump on the mic. Anyways, why are these people still? So Yahoo Finance wants to know, why are people like Kevin O'Leary and Snoop Dogg and Tyson and sitting there going and buying more crypto? Because it's on sale. All the FUD is really starting to get really irritating to me. It's been a tough year for Bitcoin after hitting an all-time high of $68,000 and then some change. In November 2021, it's down to about 1/3 of that value. Some analysts say it's just a correction for this speculative and volatile asset, while others are more damning, likening it to a house of cards built on an unsteady foundation. And yet many famous American investors continue to believe in crypto, with celebrities from the concern or from all corners like Kevin O'Leary, Edward Snowden, Snoop Dogg, and Mike Tyson all encouraging investors to remain bullish through the bear trend. It's like a forest fire. NSA whistleblower from the CIA contractor and a former CIA contractor, Edward Snowden, told the crowd at a conference in mid-June, when the ground has been cleared, things will grow again. It's very true. Those of you who know about some of the stuff with forest fires, there are certain seeds that trees drop to regrow the next generation of trees that will never regrow unless a fire opens it up. It's just how it works. Some experts aren't so sure what we'll find when the ash clears. I know what we'll find. Oh, it's going to be crazy awesome. Celebrity investor Kevin O'Leary is especially bullish on crypto. In an interview on CNBC in June, he argued that the asset has so much intellectual capacity and that the next genius idea is going to come from the chain community. He's not wrong. All the developers, by the way, all the engineers, they're moving into the crypto space for 2 reasons. One, it's really cool and innovative. And the second reason is because it pays well. All right? It pays really well. You know why? Because there are very few people who understand it, and even fewer people who can build it. If you are a developer or a software engineer, especially software engineers on standard in a standard environment, as far as the technology is concerned, I've done different hiring and things like that, so I can tell you from personal experience that when you hire a developer, when you hire a software engineer and they have experience and they've worked with specific prestigious companies on very, very unique types of projects, which usually software engineers do, they're the builders. They're the real builders of the technology you have. Understand, please, that they make more than $250,000 a year. Okay? On average. That's their average. A blockchain engineer, a blockchain software engineer, they're pushing $500,000 a year. Just to put it into perspective. So he's not wrong. all of the engineers, all of the software developers, all of the technology people, they're moving into the crypto space, specifically the blockchain space, because it pays well. It's the next version of the internet. It is where the businesses will be built. This is why I talked about yesterday. All the maxis, they're pinholing themselves. Bitcoin's great, but they're leaving so much money on the table because the net new stock market's being built. People like Kevin O'Leary get that. I've met him briefly. I highly doubt he would remember me. I don't know, maybe he would. Be awesome to have a conversation with him about this stuff and just get his opinion on where things are. And to take from an OG as people, I don't know what that really means in crypto space. I've been in this space for a long time. He's got it right. He's one of the few people who have the platform and is actually saying the proper things, and he's got it right. Anyhow, if you are any graduating cohort going into engineering, a third of them would want to work in the chain. I guess he's saying blockchain technology. They don't want to work in the 11 sectors of the economy. They want something new. He's not wrong. You know why a third of them are going into? Again, the money is there. And the thing is that any company who's trying to do any kind of blockchain development of any kind, unless they have people in-house doing it and are suckered into the pay that they already have, they will not be able to afford, or they will have to just come up with the cash to pay for the engineers and developers. And even, man, if you're a chief innovation officer or something like that, those guys for blockchain, man, you pretty much write your own ticket. I'm not kidding. This is why they're not stopping. This is why I won't stop. This is why you guys and gals won't stop. Because you know this is the future of technology. This is the future of business. This is the future of the internet. This is the future of what we do and how we do it. It's fantastic. Last thing I'll kind of talk about here, which is a very unique thing that's taking place. An administrative agency is obligated to answer congressional inquiries, even if it's a pain in the neck. SEC Chairman Gary Gensler, is acting as if he is above all of that. Yeah, he is. He's ignoring the Senate, and yet he's an unelected official. Senate Banking Committee Republicans in June 2015 sent Mr. Gensler a letter with questions about the agency's 490-page proposed rule requiring public companies to disclose climate risks. Since when does the SEC have anything to do with the climate? Anything. Companies would have to explain how government anti-carbon policies, such as the SEC's proposal, might affect their bottom line. Really? Yeah. The SEC. Going woke, going green. You tired yet? Frustrated yet? Me too. So if you got this far in the video and you like the content that we have discussed today, do me a favor and smash those likes. It lets YouTube know that the content was worth other people paying attention to it. If you are not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It does help the channel grow, and in fact, it does help this type of content to get out to the masses, if you will. And last but not least, throw your comments in the chat. I'm going to talk to you guys about those in just a minute here. And if you are looking for educational type of material and whatnot, check out Crypto Confidential. It is scrolling on the bottom of the screen and linked in the description of the video. If you want one-on-one personal consulting, or if you are a business and you have a project and you want to check that out, see if it's worth blockchain innovation, stuff like that, schedule some time directly with me at Aster Blockchain Consulting. As mentioned before, go check out that Patreon. What's going on, Tom? How you doing, brother? I appreciate you being part of the show today. Thanks. As always, we got Crypto Disposition in the house. What's up? Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it very much. We got Bitcoin Bull. What's up, brother? Took a break from the ARC building in the St. Oh, that's funny. Thanks for being part of the show, brother. I do appreciate it very much, as always. You got 11 inches of rain, dude? Yo. Send some of that down here. It is. Put some of that in the Midwest, man. They need it. The crops are just Scripture says that if my people will humble themselves and pray and turn from their wicked ways, then he'll hear from heaven, and heal their land. Our land needs healing. Same for us to get on our knees, you know what I mean? Let's see here. Johnny Mattis, what's up, brother? Thanks for being part of the show today. I greatly appreciate it. We got Lithia in the house. What's up? How are you doing? Appreciate you being here today. Bitcoin Bull. Dave Ramsey, I'm common sense free. No. I love it. Yeah. Dave Ramsey is. I mean, I get it to get people out of debt. I get it to snowball, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But there are other ways to do that. Say you want to go buy a truck. Before you buy the truck, rather than saving up all the money you need to buy the truck, or whatever, anything. Why don't you go and build yourself a fund that pays out the amount that you would make the payment for that truck every month? You get there faster, and then when the truck's paid off, you still have the residual income. Kind of cool. And your initial investment. All of it. You get the truck, it's basically the best of both worlds. You get the investment back. If you want it back, you get the residual income. If you don't, and you get the vehicle. And then it's effectively paid for at the moment in time you create this fund. Cool stuff. Oh, let's see here. Lithia, I watched the first 3 episodes of The Hidden Secrets of Money after Papa Joe mentioned it yesterday. It should be required viewing for everyone. Yes, thank you. That should be played in every school. Your kids, if you got a church, wherever, get them to watch that content. It is extremely important. We have a college and career thing at our church, and I'm possibly maybe going to be talking to them about doing a 10-part series with all the kids and kind of going over that kind of stuff. That would be a lot of fun. Got Kenny Candies. What is going on? Thanks for jumping in here today. I greatly appreciate you being part of the show. Let's see who else is in here. Let's see who else we got in the chat here today. Great. Fantastic. We got Caroline. What is going on? Thanks for being here today. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. All right. Cool stuff. Listen, I'm late for a meeting. I got to run. You guys have a beautiful, wonderful day. And I will see you all this afternoon for the Patreon show at 4:30 Eastern. If you're part of that, thank you. If you're not part of it, please consider joining. I have more information and things to do in there. Sometimes we cover some of the same stuff, but I like to get deeper into it and get into the whys and the hows and stuff a lot more than I can here, because some of the ones, the whys and the hows, have to deal with, well, stuff that would bring this channel down. Y'all have a blessed day. We'll see you later. Thanks.